Okay, we're recording, and welcome back. CT114, fall 2020. A semester of distance education. I've been going crazy just trying to put this test and bed this test and do all this stuff. So I've been here a long time, and now it's Friday at 5 minutes until 5. And this is the class lecture for next Thursday, the 29th of October. You all are going to join me, and this time I'm pretty sure I've got the mic plugged into the right jack, and I'm mic'd up, and you guys are getting my audio as well as the video. So I'd like to talk to you this afternoon, and when you click on it, I'll be talking to you about shelving and all the different kinds of shelving there are. So let's just kind of list some of the kinds of shelving there are, shall we? Let's title this shelving. And shelving is for typically storage, but it stores things that can be accessible. Do you want accessible daily or accessible sometime? Regardless. Shelving is to store stuff on. And of the types of shelving, we've got, well, let's actually, before we do the types, let's list the places where you would use shelving. So shelving is totally apropos for closets. And in closets, we're going to have some subheadings. We're going to have closed closets, which is going to include shelf and pole, plus. And when I say plus, it could have open shelves, shelves behind doors, can have drawers, and of course it has closet pole. We're going to do a typical closet. So there's closed closets, there's linen closets, there's storage closets, there's probably a lot more than that, but in terms of shelving and storage, we've got also we're going to have closets, and we're going to have pantries, closed storage, household goods, you name it. Tools, paper goods, office storage. You follow me? I bet you are. Lots of storage. Lots of things, lots of kinds of closets, and lots of areas, besides closed closets, linen closets, storage closets, that we're going to need shelving in, like pantries, and we're going to store clothes in various closets that don't have to be closed closets, just a place to store clothes. Household goods, your dry goods and cleaning products, things like that for storage, which would maybe go in a utility closet, right? Paper storage, again, office storage. Lots of things to store. Virtually anything there is worth storing. Okay? So I've kind of filled that up, so I'm going to erase that. And it's being recorded, so it's going to be here forever. It's in posterity. Boy, I hope this mic is working. And by the way, I got the speakers working. When they went out last night, and John so graciously came over and showed me how to at least get it up where I could hear you guys somewhat. But I'm back to the good speakers, and I think, I'm not really sure, but apparently it looks like I might have just pressed a button on the front of my computer here, the class computer. One of these buttons might have got pressed inadvertently, and that's what took the sound away. But it's back now, for what it's worth, which is nothing right now. But when we get back to class, it will be worth something because I'll be able to hear you. But guess what? Next week, you'll be able to click and come here, and I won't be here. And you'll be able to take this quiz that we have for you. You'll be able to take this quiz, this 12-question quiz that's right out of your workbooks from chapters 11 and 12. And by the way, let me say that I am so sorry that I ever recommended the 11th edition. I recommend the 11th edition because it's affordable, but really there's stuff in the 12th, and I thought it was pretty much the same, but it's not. The 12th edition has got a bunch more stuff. It's way more germane to our trade, and it's obviously way more up to date. It was published in 2016, and I just went through a couple of days where I met with a rep of the publisher, Goodhart Wilcox, who puts out that textbook, and they're working on a 13th edition, and we're going to get that in spring. But to make a long story short, the 12th edition, I'm going to have a module from them. I actually already have it. I just haven't learned how to use it, where it's full of question banks. I got questions forever that I can pull, tests. Don't you just love that? And it's got animation, it's got videos, it's got all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to be pretty happy. And I'll tell you more about it as I know more about it. But in the meantime, I'm going to try to focus on shelving, which I love. Shelving is really happening. Now, I'm just going to pan a little bit right now because we've got some shelves in here. Just to show you, we've got, oops, you know what? I don't have to do that. All I have to do is this. So there's some shelving right there. That's behind doors, and that's open, and it's for tools. It's a cabinet that's full of shelves. So that's a storage cabinet that has shelves in it. Shelving goes into cabinetry, but it also just goes into niches and goes behind doors, and it goes and not behind doors. So this is all fixed shelving. None of this is adjustable. It's all looks like it was dadoed in. So that's a dado is a groove across the grain and not on the edge. Those are rabbets where the shelves are fixed. And they're supported because they go slightly into. But I'm going to draw some of that. So these are shelves that don't close. Why isn't that closing? Okay, so let's get back to the board. Let's get back to the board. Come on with me. Come on back. I'm going to have to tighten up my belt with this thing on my belt. Okay. So let's pan back to the board. Yes, right there. So you can see the board, which I've erased, and it's nicely clean. So what kinds of shelving are there? We've talked about where shelving goes. I've talked about it. You guys haven't talked at all because you're not really here to give me feedback and ask questions. You can ask questions later. Write them down so you don't forget. So what kinds of shelving are there? Types? of shelving. Now, I didn't do any prep for this lecture. I'm pretty much going on what I know, the stuff that's in my head from my experience. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, from my experience. So types of shelving. Who can tell me the types of shelving that there are? What's one type of shelving? Anybody? Anybody? Oh, yeah, nobody's out there. Okay, so we've got fixed. And actually I'm going to divide shelving up into a couple of basic types. Fixed, and adjustable. So in fixed shelving, you've got cleated, let in, or dadoed. What else? You've got, I guess butted would be good. Butted and fastened. In fixed, and in adjustable, there's a variety of adjustable shelving. There's adjustable shelving done with 5mm holes on 32mm spacing. That's pretty common. And I'm gonna leave the frame here for just a second and get a template. So these are templates for adjustable shelving. There's a variety of ways to do adjustable shelving. Now this looks like a 1/4" template. Yeah, it looks like somebody made this with 1/4" holes, which is a common hole size for an adjustable shelf clip. And then this guy, which is 5mm holes, which are closer to 3/16 in American, on 32mm increments for shelf clips. And there are a variety of kinds of shelf clips. I didn't bring any, but I can show you some later at some point if I can find any. I'll show you. I'm going to grab. I know I'm out of frame, but I'm sure you can hear me because I'm wearing the mic. And I'm going to go ahead and pull one out, and I'll put it back in a minute. But this is a type I like. It has a hardened steel pin. It's 5mm in diameter, and then the shelf is plastic and it's clear. The support. It's this little mini corbel that goes into a 5mm hole. And as a matter of fact, it goes into a hole like that. Now, these shelf clips come as spoon types. They come in a variety of types. Some of them lock. A lot of them don't. Most of them don't, but they come as little brass spoons, chrome spoons, dark bronze spoons, antique English spoons, spoon types. They're shaped a little bit like a spoon. As a matter of fact, the adjustable shelves, there's a type that looks like that, and that's the pin. It just looks like a little spoon, and that goes in the hole, and that sticks out. Those are the type of shelf supports that go into a hole system, and they go into 1/4" holes, and you can determine the system on that. And you can buy jigs. That jig was made on our 23 spindle borer that you saw this cabinet. get bored on at the shop when we did this. And there's the 5mm holes. They're bored to take the base plates for the hinges, but also if there were going to be a shelf. If this were a base cabinet, you'd have one shelf in here. And so you'd have a mid shelf and you'd have self-supports on a shelf to support that, to be supported by those shelf clips. Another type of adjustable shelving, and I may be struggling with the nomenclature here, but it's a track type, and then you have a clip that goes into the track. So the track goes into a groove. Dados are across the grain, grooves are with the grain. They go into a groove. So if this were a piece of plywood, a side, in cross section, that groove would be a shallow groove. I think they're 3/4 and they're about